Synthaholics.
Welcome to Synthaholics. Thank you so much for downloading this episode. Today you have myself, Aaron O'Brien, and David Duncan. Hello, Dave.
All right, you may call me David Melange.
Melange.
Muad'Dib.
Muad'Dib. Dave, we are on Dune. We are going through chapter 36 and 37, and we are back with Pual and Jessica. And a couple things start happening here with them and the Fremen that they're embedded with now. They're part of their tribe. Things start changing.
The only gay Eskimo in my tribe.
My tribe. So, Stilgar takes the whole tribe, the troop, whatever, into their siege, and Pual goes to this new home, into this cave system, and Pual noticed that Chani kind of disappears from him at a certain point, and that they're not, like, she's not around, and she's hearing some people like, oh, poor Chani, and then finally hears the idea that Liet, Dr. Kynes, is dead, and Chani is his daughter. So he's like, whoa, I didn't know that.
Man, that Guido was your dad? You don't talk like him at all.
I know. Johnny's like, my father, somebody killed him. He put a mark on him.
Oh no,
she's a kiss of death. She's
assimilated her father now that she knows he's dead.
I know, Johnny. Poor Johnny. She's like, what is it? Snooky from Jersey Shore. I'll have to get the Snooky accent down.
Learn the Snooky accent. Oh, I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the Three Stooges movie they made where Mo hung out with the Jersey Shore and poked Snooky in the eyes?
No. I don't think I saw that one.
Unfortunately, it poorly dates the movie since it puts it in with Jersey Shore.
Interesting. Pual then Pual loses track of his mom, Jessica, so he doesn't know where she's at. But then Pual is introduced to Harah, Jameis's wife. And he says, oh, by the way, since you killed Jameis, now you get his wife and kids. And then
man, that's a pretty sweet deal.
Like, does Harris become does Harris become his wife now, or his servant? And she's like, I'm still young. You could still get with me. And Paul's like, servant. And then she flips her shit on him. It's like, I'm still young. I'm
the youngest here. Woo.
They're like, Harah, I don't think you're that young anymore.
Who's get the hottest wife? I'm gonna have to go and kill that one's husband.
Yeah,
so I just claim them.
With Fremen law, Paul has to take care of her and her two sons for at least 1 year. So Paul, by killing Jameis, all of a sudden got a lot of responsibilities real quick. So
poor Paul.
Yeah. Then Harah takes Paul further into the cave system, into the siege, and is going to show Paul to where Jameis and her lived with the two kids. He hasn't even met the kids yet, so. So Harah gives Paul like a tour guide through everything, and she explains to Paul like these dew collectors and how they get food and grow plants and stuff like that in the desert, and then you find out that they're packing up. They're going to move everything. The Sardaukar are hunting them. They got to get out. So this whole siege is leaving this cave system, and so they're going to be moving further south. Paul goes to see a school where they're teaching the kids, and so they're going. Paul's like gets to see the kids learn a little bit.
It's like Sparta. They're all like beating each other up. They got Chris knives and everything.
That's right.
This is Fremen Sparta.
So then Harah finally brings them to the quarters, and it's like basically like a bunch of like canvases and carpets that are all kind of like strewn up just to keep their privacy. And then she's sort of like, I'm your servant now. I can take your suit off for you, your still suit off from you, or anything else you might want to do. I am your servant. And Paul's like, no, thank you. Just give me something to eat. Are you sure? Would you like some more milk?
Oh, some straight from the tit?
Ovaltine.
Ovaltine.
Thank you. Just give me some food.
See, if you take a spoonful of Ovaltine in your mouth and suck the boob, then you'll have warm Ovaltine. Mm.
So now, so Paul's like, no, just give me some food. And so she's kind of walks out, and Paul's like, Jesus, what the hell?
She's all sad.
So
you're not pretty enough for you, Paul Muad'Dib. Usul, the strength of the balls of the penis.
Yeah. Your looks don't give me any strength to the balls of my penis. So
everyone looks like Shattered Mapes.
Hey, what's going on?
I got prunes on my boobs. I mean, my boobs are basically prunes.
Base of the prunes. So then who walks in while he's sitting there thinking about the craziness that's gone on, and he's thinking about Chani and about her loss of her father, because Paul's totally in love with Chani now. But the children of Jameis, they walk in and they have their Chris knives. Paul's like, dun dun dun.
Do I have to kill his kids now?
I know, it's pretty weird. So that wraps up that chapter, and then we go into chapter 37, and there we have the Fremen are all gathered in this big gathering wall place, and there's like 5,000 people all staring there. And so Jessica's there with Stilgar, and Paul shows up with James' sons. We get the names of Caliph and Orlop, and those are the two kids that came in with a Chris knife that he thought, like, I might have to fight these kids because they're pretty fierce. But then he was like, oh, they just came to take me to the to this big function.
Yeah, and just like those fierce Spartan kids.
Yeah, that's right. Paul then sees Chani, and she's wearing green, so it makes this as green as the color of mourning. So she's mourning her death of her father. So, and then an old woman is brought there, and this is the Reverend Mother Ramallo, and she is the Reverend Mother of the Fremen. So, and Paul's like, what's going on here?
How did you neck the Gumji bar?
I got your Gunji bar here, Paul.
So
you want to do that one again?
Stilgar kind of like tells Paul to shut up and just listen to what's going on. So the Reverend Mother is Stilgar has to make the announcement that they're leaving their siege, their little place where they're staying, and they have to go to find another place to stay down south. And the Reverend Mother's too old to make the journey. So that it says, and it's not good for us not to have our mother. So we have Lady Jessica. She will now be our new Reverend Mother, and she will undergo the rite to become the Reverend Mother. And Jessica seems like not certain that she wants to do this all of a sudden. She's like, if I tell Paul, maybe he'll talk me out of it. And then, but before she can even
Paul's not going to do that. You're the enemy now, Jessica.
Chani shows up, and with this like bag of water with like a little spout on it, and she's just like, and she's just like, would you like? It's like, here it is, and she shoves it in her mouth, and she just like pumps the water into her mouth immediately. Like, she doesn't even, like, she's still like thinking like, I don't know if I want to do this, and all of a sudden, like, Chani just like pushes the water into her mouth.
Holds her nose and bends her head back and just forces it down. You're taking
I'm
it.
not sure.
Yeah, and Jessica's like, doesn't taste too good.
Oh yeah, Chani's like, yeah, I spit in it. What do you expect?
And Chani, so she gives Jessica the water, and then Jessica is all of a sudden thinking about her daughter, unborn daughter in her stomach. It's like, wait, what about her? And it's like, maybe I should have thought this through a little more.
Drugs are
like,
good for babies.
This all of a sudden
Gotta get them. Gotta get them hooked early.
It's too late. So all of a sudden, when she drinks the water, it's the drug is super potent. This is called the water of life, and it just gets really weird. Like time freezes, and they start talking like a mote of dust. She starts like fixating on things, like just like a mote. They says a mote, like, and I'm thinking a mote of dust, and it just stands still. And then she starts realizing, like, that she can control like how like oxygen and carbon go together, like really weird stuff. Like she can like control things all of a sudden. So
Her powers are expanding.
she sees the place where the Bene Gesserit mothers can't enter, that the only Harah can go to. So she sees that. And then she connects to the Reverend Mother Ramallo. They start talking, like, just through their brains, like through this connection. And she's connecting to all the past, like, Reverend Mothers now. So this is what's happening. But she realizes this is happening now as well as her daughter. And the Reverend Mother Ramallo kind of like admonishes her, says like, "Wait, you never told you were pregnant?" It says this could be awful to your kid. It's like, and if it was and it's good that it's a girl. He says if it's a boy, the boy would die immediately.
You'd be stillbirthing right now.
Yeah. So it's like, what, are you crazy doing this? So Jessica tries to chant the Bene Gesserit mantra because she can feel the daughter showing up in her consciousness, and the daughter is scared, is terrified, but she realizes her words mean nothing to the daughter because the daughter doesn't know language, and so she has to show like basically give feelings of love and compassion and care for this daughter's consciousness, but without giving her words. So that was pretty weird thought, but I guess it makes total sense.
Yeah, language is a learned ability for humans. There's so many languages, and we're not innately born. We're born able to understand, but we're not born with the understanding. So it makes sense.
Right.
Although she is getting all the Bene Gesserit stuff downloaded into her brain, so shouldn't like language be a part of that? I don't know.
Well, I think she's coming to realization to all this stuff as time goes on, but it's very quick, and but it's weird how it's described. As she's talking like about motes of dust that she fixates on, and she recognizes like, well, that's my daughter, and that's the Reverend Mother, and like it's just really weird how they talk about it. It's odd writing, but
I wonder if Frank Herbert was also doing shrooms while he was doing this.
I'm sure he was. Something was happening at this point, Yeah.
I gotta write some more Dune today. Here's a bag of shrooms. Blah.
Take the psilocybin.
Nom, nom, nom.
Yeah. So she's got to kind of like work all that out. So when Jessica kind of like comes to, she has the water of life to be mingled with the rest of the water and given to the people, and they'll be all shared in this blessing. So the drug effect won't be as strong because it's like diluted. Yeah, but
everyone's gonna get some high.
But everyone's going to get a little bit of drug of the water of life.
Yeah, this would be a great time for the Harkonnens to show when everyone's stoned out of their mind.
Yeah, right. And then Jessica realizes that the water of life is created by the vapors of a dying sandworm. So there's that, and so she's kind of like coming to. She's like, she's passed the test of drinking this water. It didn't kill her, and she is coming through the other side. So she is
just like
going
the fear. She's passing through it.
Yeah, that's right. She is going to be the Reverend Mother. So Paul drinks the water of life, the diluted stuff, and then goes to hang out with Chani. And Paul has another vision, and he kind of sees himself on this tight wire, and he sees his enemies, and on the other side he sees the Fremen and the Jihad. So, and he kind of breaks down and starts to cry, and Chani's wondering why he's crying, and he's giving more moisture to the dead again.
Always gotta moisturize them dead corpses, man.
And then they kind of tell that they both tell each other that they love each other. And that ends these 2 chapters and ends the book of Muad'Dib. And we are going to go on to the Prophet next. So,
wow, we've done that. We've done that twice. Where we've ended right at the end of the book, didn't we?
Yeah.
It works out.
What do you think of these last 2 chapters and what's to come?
Just a weird kind of wrap up to the book. It's like it started off a lot more actiony, and then it's had its own kind of rising action, and it's kind of fallen down to more exposition and stuff like that. And like the Bene Gesserit like passing on of like multiple lives is fascinating, and that it's getting assimilated into the daughter as well. And then it's just like all this like Fremen lifestyle, just learning the customs of the Fremen. I wonder how much this comes up in the future books, because like I said, I'm not super into it, so I'm guessing a lot of this is just like a lot of foundation stuff for what is to come.
What do you mean, like what's put out in for the Bene Gesserit?
Well, just I mean like the past life thing, because and then just the Fremen culture. Like I'm just guessing this is groundwork for the future books, so they don't have to explain it as much later. You know what I mean? That's kind of my thought on these chapters. It's kind of like we're back into exposition, a lot of exposition. Things have been ever since Paul and Jessica found the Fremen. We're back into exposition dump territory, where it's interesting learning more stuff, but not a whole lot's going on. How about you? What are your thoughts on these 2?
Yeah, just to go along with the Bene Gesserit thing, I kind of wonder when you drink the water of life, like you're dialing in all the past Reverend Mothers of your past, right? The feminine side, if you're Bene Gesserit.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so are you dialing in the spirits of the past, or are they embedded into your DNA, or are they somehow like a collective unconscious that is just floating out there, to be kind of like jacked into like a net?
Well, I feel like it's almost sort of like Jadzia Dax and the Symbiont. Like basically, when the 2 Reverend Mothers have the water of life together, like when the one's getting ready to die, they just pass on all their knowledge and all the stuff. And I guess it's like a telepathy dump. Like it's an information dump that we're getting. Like Jessica's basically getting all the memories and stuff just transferred over into her, which
right.
I'm guessing there's going to be multiple ways this happens in Dune, because Duncan Idaho also gets resurrected with and has memories of his past self. So I don't know how it works when it's just the same person remembering all of his past lives. But I'm guessing the spice is also involved, because it seems, or the sandworms, because the spice is made by the sandworms, and eating some decay or drink some decaying sandworm mixed in some water makes another interesting drug. So I wonder if people just take bites out of just raw sandworm. What does that do to them?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. The other thing is, so obviously we kind of got like not totally what life is like in the Siege, but we kind of got an idea. Like the first thing we're kind of like told is when they start taking off their still suits, just the ripe smell of people.
Oh yeah,
because everyone stinks.
Everyone smells like shit. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, they're all like, "Oh God, like what the fuck?"
You get used to the smell.
You get used to it.
What smells worse, Fremen or Harkonnens?
I know, right? And then that Paul's got to have like these kids and like this Harah as his servant who keeps on like, "Oh, don't you find me attractive?" And Paul's like 15, like, "No, you're old and gross." And she's probably only like 35.
Yeah.
You know. But to a 15-year-old, you're like a million years old.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then it's just Jessica going through this thing to become the Reverend Mother. I mean, she basically says, like, I have to secure a place with the Fremen, and this is the best way to do it. And although I'd be putting myself and my unborn daughter at risk, I need to do this for Paul and for us, So, I mean, a bit of a selfless act from Jessica that she did, but, I guess it's the only way that she could have like possibly worked this out. So they're in a good standing with the whole tribe. So,
well, I wonder if I wonder if Paul seeing this is what maybe Paul saw this happen before it happened, and I wonder if this is why he thinks that his mother is the enemy, because they never really explained it. He just like, mom is the enemy now. I'm like,
I know they haven't got into that, and that Paul. It's funny because she wonders the same thing at some point. She's like, does Paul know what's going to happen to me? And then she looks to Paul because she knows he can see in the future. And he's just like staring at Chani. And he's like, that guy's no use to me. Like she's trying to like get like a reaction on his face. Like, is this going to be good or bad? And Paul's like, Chani, I love you.
He's 15. He needs sex. What are you talking about? Leave him alone.
Well, Harah was about to give him a little action in the tent there in his little quarters, but he was like, "No, old lady.
Oh, I'm 37.
I'm not old. Old woman. I'm not old.
Man.
I can still bear children. I'm not old."
I know. It's just weird. So, it's funny. That was a little bit funny too. I just thought that Harah's like reaction when he wanted her to be his servant and not his wife, and then also, like her like, would you like me to take your still suit off for you, sir?
Don't look at my pee-pee.
Clean your buttocks.
I can shave it too with my teeth.
Get out of here.
Fine.
Bye. I'm going. Don't think I won't be back, though.
You'll regret it in the morning. When your morning wood doesn't go away on its own. You'll see.
You'll see.
Anyways, so it's funny. And, but yeah, so they're setting up all the pieces, and now, we are really in like the last bits of this novel. So now we're going to see how all the pieces have been set up and how all the pieces are now going to, get pushed down with the dominoes, So
yeah. Although, so we still haven't gotten to the part in the movie where Paul talks about training them, and it seems like because right after this is we have the 3-year gap. It seems like the training should have been happening in this 3-year gap, or unless they just assume
it happened. The problem is that in the movie it was weird. They took the weirding fighting and they turned it into a technology instead of fighing. Because it was like a sound thing that they were doing.
It was like a sound gun.
It had nothing to do with the weird. And the weirding fighting that the Bene Gesserits use is like they move like faster than you can actually realize that they're doing. So they're so quick.
They use the speed force, like the Flash.
They're like super ninjas, kind of. So
yeah, I wonder. I really hope they do it that way in the new movie. I really hope it's like the super fast with our slow mo tech and everything. Now, hopefully they can do it right, and it not be some weird gun thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be cool. So next week we'll get into the next book, The Prophet, and
The Prophet.
I think we get some Harkonnens next chapter, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think that's how we learned. It's been 3 years that passed that Harkonnens talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed these last couple episodes. If you have any further thoughts or anything else that you want to add to our discussion, you can email us at synthaholics@yahoo.com. You can also hit us up on our Facebook page, Facebook.com/groups/Synthaholics. You can hit us up at Twitter. Our Twitter handle is Synthaholic Duo. And then if this podcast is something you enjoy, you want to help support us, you go to our Patreon.com/Synthaholics, and you can throw some money there. All right, Dave. Next week, we get to see the Baron.
Oh, he's going to do some weird stuff because he's the Baron.
Ephod! Ephod!
Come back, little boy.
I know you got a drug problem, Ephod.
Don't we all? Everyone in Dune's got a drug problem.
Everyone in Dune's got some kind of weird drug vice problem. Yeah.
If they don't have a drug problem, that's the problem in Dune.
Yeah, then you're the weirdo, man.
Yeah, you're fucking weird.
All right, until next week, guys. Let the spice flow all over your body.
Well, McCoy, my boy, come mix me a drink. Before the night's over, I'll puke in the sink. We'll cry till we laugh, and we'll both shit our pants. You're the best drinking friend